Hello, welcome. Welcome to another Trainz live stream. So the plan for this one is for me to show you the progress that I've made on my third rail electric route, which I have come up with a name for. So I've called it the Southfolds the Southfolds electric network, or the route technically Southfolds UK third rail electric network. So gotta get the keywords in there. So actually I'll just show you the route from a bird's eye view first, and then we'll go drive a session. The sessions that I have made already are mostly done, not quite finished. I haven't put people around the place yet and things like that, but other than that, gameplay wise, the ones that I've finished are finished. So the map now looks like this from up above. So lots of stuff filled in around here, which I think is new from the last time you saw this map. I'm pretty sure. These views where you can actually see all of the buildings, I think that's new, right? I'm pretty sure. So this over here, for example, is a line that I've run out of time to actually build for the first release of the map, but I do plan on adding it in the next big update. So that's the case for a few of the internal city lines, but it's still over 100 kilometers of track that I have finished, and that will be in the first release anyway, so that's all good. Plus I've already got a lot of sessions to make for the bits that I've already built, so it's not like there won't be enough sessions. Right, so some of what I've done is, as I alluded to before, I've filled in the middle bits of the city, for example, which may look like it'll be really performance intensive, but it actually really won't be, because the buildings are really far apart when you actually look at it, and they've either got really good lodding, like my own assets, or they have really low poly count, like the other assets that I've used. So performance-wise, this shouldn't be too big of an impact. And this I've done all over the city, and I've also added the scenery bits to where the lines connect that I've not managed. Hello, Kangathanka, welcome. That I've not managed to connect or build for the first release. So like this line down here, for example, is one that if you look just from where you'll actually see it, it looks like a perfectly scenery built line that goes off in both directions. And while that will be part of the map in a later update, right now, yeah, the scenery does end eventually, but this will be added. And yeah, so I filled in all of those spots, like over here, for example, where this line goes off around the corner and then under the subway line and carries off that way. And yes, this is deliberate over there, because I do plan on having this is where the airport will go in that update, and where there'll be a amusement park maybe and stuff like that. So right, yeah, so that's some of the work that I've done, which does fill out the map beautifully if you've got a higher render distance set like I do. So yeah, that's really nice. I've also decided to, which I have talked about in previous streams, which is to put in a junction here by Marefell village, which I love how this bit turned out, just as it's curving around that hill. It just looks so picturesque and feels so right for the kind of area that I'm modeling. And this has two primary uses. Yes, hello Kanga, welcome. The first is to have, well, for the time being, an off-map connection with portals, so that it makes more sense for this big bridge to have been built, because otherwise the only town that you could get to going down this way, well, the only other two would be Oscombe and Hadley Head, but if you've already got this line up here, then that's obviously much cheaper than to build that bridge. But if it's part of a larger main line that continues on this way, then that could save a lot of time, and so that makes it more justified. The other part is that when I do update the route, since most of the additions will be within the city, including like these lines over here that connect to different places, I will also then have the option to add a bit more countryside stuff as well, which will also make for some nice variety in the update as well. So that'll be fun. But that's future plans. So that's part of what I did. Also, I added third rail to everything, which I think is new since the last time. So all of that's done. The signaling's done. Oh yes, station furniture. So I added benches and flower pots and signs and lights and shelters and all that stuff to all of my stations, and help points as well, which does add a lot to making it feel realistic. If we have a look at Dothborn Central, which, yes, that's the name of the city, Dothborn, you can see we've got, oh yes, this is a bug in this version of Trainz, in this service pack. If you've got the route any route open for an amount of time, certain textures will become very blurry. That is a known bug in Trainz, and one that will be fixed, and it's not got anything to do with me. So, but yeah, anyway, having like platform numbers and stuff like that, ticket machines as well, in bins. So yeah. Hello, Altinor. Welcome everybody. Good evening, Shadows, mods, and chat. Right, so now that I've given you a brief overview, oh yeah, that's another instance of this Trainz bug where you'll just have to excuse that. There's nothing I can do about it. It'll be fixed in the next Trainz update, which is the official word from a developer of N3V. So yeah, next, I think we should go for a bit of a drive, but I will quickly relaunch Trainz, so we'll have the crisp textures again, at least for the beginning. So this first session is the one that I'm currently working on, but these down here are the sessions that I've already mostly finished. Like, as I said, like little scenes of putting individual people in different places and stuff like that. I still need to do on all of them, but other than those details, they are pretty much finished. So as you can see, I've got on the thumbnail a diagram of the map, which is the proportions are slightly wrong deliberately, so that you can see certain things a bit clearer, like for example the Ys and the Hextor loop. So yeah, you've got the train that you're driving, the weather, and the time, and there's a 24-hour clock, so this is 10 o'clock. So yeah, you've got these different sessions that have already finished, and at the moment my scroll wheel isn't working right, so I'll have to use the mouse. Oh yeah, this map reads very well, thank you. So yeah, which one might be good? Let's see. Well, maybe this one would be good, which is the... Would that one be good? Or should we go for a rainy one? A rainy one might be nice. This one. Yeah. Oh yes, of course, another thing. I'm finished, well, pretty much finished. There are still a little few details that I might add. I pretty much finished the 465. So, and made deliveries for it, which you'll see as well. Yeah, I think we'll drive this one. So I'll quickly relaunch Trainz. So, hello, Wasted Tries, welcome. I'll quickly relaunch Trainz for the crisp textures. And then we'll get started. Kanka says, yeah, I've still yet to do those SWT liveries for the 465. I do want to still. Nice. So, go over here, go there. We'll do the 465 commuter, 1002, directly via Saltmouth Loop, clockwise. So, let's do drive session. Thumbnails are considerably better than most thumbnails. Thumbnails are considerably better than most thumbnails than the ones you find on most of the DLS. I mean, making thumbnails is just... you make the thumbnails when you've already finished the thing you're making, and so it just feels like, okay, I've done this huge amount of work to do this thing and I'm finally done. Oh, and now I need to do more stuff that's not actually improving the thing itself, just how people perceive it, and so it's easy to kind of skimp on that, but it is of course important. Also, let me increase the volume a bit because I know I've usually got Trainz turned down quite a bit. So let's try 40%. Just got a few projects going on at the same time here. Yes, I agree. Oh, since the last Trainz stream, I also made some Trainz assets which are on the DLS. Yes, and we will see some of those. Yes. So according to what I just heard, the route is done. So the actual route scenery part of it is pretty much done for release. It will be expanded in free updates post-release, adding more lines and connections and sessions and stuff like that. But yeah, so at the moment I'm working on making the sessions, and then we'll see about maybe improving some bits of the route if there is time. So yeah. Yeah, thankless task putting things on the DLS. Well, depends. If you see your assets used by other people, then that is quite rewarding, I find. The Schleckerbox series, Obibox series, Allcost Box series, and Life Preserver Ring series. Yes, all of those made by you. Yes. Yeah. I won't read everything out because time. So this is the commuter livery. They will show you the other ones as well. There are plenty more pictures of this livery on my Discord server if you're interested. So yeah, right. So let's get started. Important info: always obey the speed limit. Keep an eye on upcoming speed limit changes. Only depart the station after the whistle and green flag. Yes. By the way, I'm using the correct microphone. Yes, it should be. Please let me know about the volume, if it's too loud or too quiet. Looking at the volume, I think it might be a little too loud. Is it a little too loud, or is it too quiet? A bit louder, okay. Is that better, or is it still too loud? At the moment there are a lot of trains here, so it will be a bit louder than normal. Southfolds, yes. Is the upholstery actual upholstery from Arrow Trainz? No, this is a completely fictional livery. And on the upholstery, you can see it says SFT for Southfolds Trainz. So, yeah, on the... Yeah. Go down a bit more. Okay, sure. I have paused it because of timing stuff. Bit loud. Okay. Right, so I'll read the message. Hello driver, you'll be taking the 10:02 clockwise Duckley Loop service down and around Swordmouth, ending back here at 10:30. Sporadic drizzle and showers are expected. You may depart when you've gotten the whistle and flag from the conductor. Again, just to make sure people don't drive off without having proper permission. It is recommended to play the session in one go, as saving, loading may break some scripting, yes. So here's the inside of the cab. So it is slightly fictionalized again, but we do have working... Oops, I can't zoom in. That's... Hold on. 1 second. Let me turn off the... Where is the... free internal camera, so I can use the... Yeah, we do have a working destination selector text, so whatever's on the front will also show up here. And then ambient occlusion baking, working throttle brake, reverser, horn. These levers of, these indicators of course work as well. They've got better textures than we did before on some of the things. Also, that train just went. And I'm pretty sure that a train just arrived. Yep, there we go. That train's just coming in. Also, when you look through different camera positions, you can also see more of the interior as well. We should be going pretty soon. Sporadic, never actually used that word before. Real rain for the most part. What? Oh, real train. Right, so... Is that correct? Is that the correct position? There we go, that's correct position. Right, so let's get started. I think it's probably going to be a bit quiet, especially if we're in the cab. So I'll turn the sound up a little bit more. Right. Although I do realize that these trains IRL only went up to, I think, 75 miles per hour, but since I do have some faster line speeds on this map going up to 100 miles per hour, I wanted the player to actually be able to use those, so since this is already a bit of a fictionalized version of the train, I modified that bit as well a little, so... yeah. Right, so the way I've made the objectives up here, so you get a new one every time you go to a station, and the time that is shown here is the one that's important, that you'll be scored by. Normally that's the departure time. Like for example here with Ben, oh, also it started raining just now. Oh, that's nice. So normally that's the departure time, because that way you can catch up on delays. So if you're a bit late, then you might arrive a little bit later in the next station, but you won't have as long of a stopping period. So yeah, but for some stations, like the final station on the service, as well as some specific ones in some sessions, you will be scored by the arrival time instead, and so that's the time that will be shown up here as well. So yes. Also, in previous sessions for previous routes, when I have variable weather, I usually use the variability function of the built-in weather rules. But in these sessions, I've done that manually with triggers, so that I have a bit more control over how far visibility will be in different parts. Oh, audio. Yeah, I'm still not that happy with the audio, the engine sounds of the 465 that I've currently got, which are from the DLS. They're the only actual 465 engine sounds that I was able to find, but they have some issues, like the idle sound is so loud, much louder than some of the running sounds, and some of the running sounds also don't loop perfectly. Sounds good now. Thank you. Yeah. The author has been messaged asking if we could get permission to modify the sounds a bit, but no reply yet, so I don't know if I'll keep these or if I'll switch them out for some other more generic EMU sounds. So we'll see about that. Right, so now we're approaching Benswood Junction. Actually a little bit too fast, because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, we should be fine. Doors open. Right, and usually I've got about a minute waiting time at each station, but sometimes that's a little bit more for connections, sometimes it's a little bit less, because... Oh, actually, this is a quick aside would be good here, because with this one, I did make actual timetables, like for a looping hour for the different services. And I did also make a little animation for my own reference of the trains going on the lines, so this is accurate for which trains are at which stations at which times, but it's not that accurate between stations because of the, like, I don't have accelerations properly, but it is useful for figuring out which trains need to be where. So with some few slight exceptions, all of the trains in the sessions are actually placed in accordance with this timetable. So yeah, that was definitely worth the effort. It has been really helpful just being able to look up and see, okay, there needs to be a train here that goes down to Hadleyhead, which means that it'll have to have the coastal livery, which I will show you as well. That's one thing about the weather in Tiers 19 that I don't really like, which is you will get thunder if there's any sort of precipitation. Even if it's drizzling or raining, you will still get occasional thunder. It gets more likely the worse weather is, but you will still get it. It used to be exclusive to stormy weather, but now it isn't. So, yeah. Although I do love how the fog hangs in the valleys there. That looks really nice. If the compression isn't too bad on that. Oh, I love the clouds flashing up in thunderstorms pre-tain. Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why a cloudy weather even exists. Because you used to be able to set that with a weather rule. Now it's dependent on the skybox, which means you can't modify it dynamically within the session anymore. You can only set it for the whole session, which, yeah. Okay, so now I'm slowing down because that signal back there, where the junction is red, which you can see down on the HUD on the bottom. Yeah, cloudy weather is pretty much completely redundant now. It's the same as clear. Well, no, because clear is just no rain or snow, which you gotta have, otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn that off. So clear is necessary. But cloudy is identical to that now, no? Yes, as far as I can tell, yeah. And here is the express livery. So you can see it's going to Doffborn, and it looks quite fancy. So actually, sorry, yeah, that's the Trainz bug with the textures being blurry. Yeah, on the normal one, the commuter, it says Southfolds, enjoy traveling, but here it says Southfolds, enjoy traveling rapidly, because it's the express, and you've got fancy red upholstery and carpets and things. Oh, yeah, now we've got the... Yeah, that's... Sorry about that. Can't do anything about that. Pretend that this is as nice and crisp as it was when... like a couple minutes ago. Now the signal's cleared, so we can accelerate again. Trainz, how did this bug make it into an official build? Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, like, what I can... The only way I can explain that is that they made some changes to the update, tested it, was all fine except for some little bugs. They put in some quick fixes to those bugs, tested whether the bugs are fixed, but then didn't do another full test of the whole thing. And some of the fixes for the bugs might have introduced new bugs which weren't caught, because N3D is only a small team and Trainz is very complicated, especially considering all the legacy support that it has. So that's the only way that I can reasonably imagine that how that might have come into the game. Yeah, it's probably it, I guess. Yeah. Right, so now we are joining the ocean, which does look really nice in the kind of the cloudy weather with the choppy waves and everything. I do love how that looks. Also, here is the 155 repaint that I made. Oh, this one doesn't have a number on it. Yeah, so this is what it's supposed to look like. Southfolds, enjoy traveling. Like that. So this is the Hollyhampton to London line, which is actually just departed London, went via Mary's Crabshore and Swortmouth, and you can see Hollyhampton. There you go. Ooh, number. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, Code Monkey. Hello, if you're here. Right. So I need to accelerate a little bit. So, like for example with that train, I modified the timing very slightly. So like within a minute, so that the meeting is more aesthetically pleasing. But there is, according to the timetables, supposed to be a train on this stretch going that direction on that line. So that's actually a really good example of the kind of slight modifications that I do make. Because while I do want to use that for realism and for good meets, I'm not afraid to modify it slightly if it results in a better experience. Oh, I could reskin Slamdor 2, a 423. 423, sorry, I accelerated too much. Not paying attention. Wheel slip. I'm not sure which oh, right. Well, I mean, you could, but it would be nice to have that, but it's not necessary at the moment. Also, I don't know what permissions would be like, but yeah, so welcome to a bit of a rainy Swordmouth. Oh yes, and here the destination board should automatically update. There we go. And then, are we gonna get control back? We should be able to get control back automatically. There we go, yes. Haha, nice. Now we can depart. I could ask for repayment permissions if it's not set in description config. I mean, it would be nice to have that variety, but it is not needed at the moment because I have, for example, with it would add another layer of complexity with having to maybe redo some of the timings, because currently the timings of the schedules are based on this train and its performance envelope, so I'm not sure about that. Hello, Slovageagle, welcome. Currently demoing one of my sessions. And yes, this is not how the textures are supposed to look. This is the Trainz bug, where if it's open for a while, you get blurry textures. So, well, oh, that's not supposed to be there. Okay, approaching Greater Swordmouth. Oh, you're using those sounds? I've got them currently on there. I'm not sure about them yet, because while they are the only authentic 465 sounds on the DLS, they do have issues. Like, for example, the idle volume is much louder than a lot of the running sounds, whereas it shouldn't really have any idle sound. And some of the volumes aren't great in loops, but I mean, I've asked for permission to modify the asset, but not received a reply yet. If I receive a reply, then I'll see about Oops, I forgot to break properly again. Then I will see if I can modify the asset to be a little better. If I can't get that permission, then I might have to go with a more generic EMU sound. Or if, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe if there was one singular session set in 2009, something where you'd be running the 4-2-3 farewell tour, so only the player driving it. Why should only the player drive it? Yeah, it would be fun. It would be fun to have that train as well, but really it's, I mean, on the one hand, having more variety in terms of rolling stock is always nice, but on the other hand, it's already a lot of work that needs to be done in a relatively short amount of time, and with things like maybe adding the platform announcements and adding little scenes and sessions on different times of day and weather, and all of these things already takes a lot of time, and so I'm not sure if it's really worth it, even if you can get permission. Maybe in an update. Also, here's one of Kanga's life preserver rings along here, and there's a few more along here as we get towards Oscom. This would look so much nicer with crisp textures. But oh well, it's only a temporary thing until it gets patched in 3V. Right, so we're supposed to depart at Oscom town at 19 past, which we've still got a bit under 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I get that it's an older unit, but it doesn't have to be that realistic. Like, if it's... I'm happy. I would be happy to kind of not adhere to the timeline that precisely if it's a nice train to have on the route. There could still be a few running around if it were feasible and also cost effective in terms of time. It does look nice. Yeah. Also, in making the timetables, I did make a couple of changes. Like, for example, here, I previously only had this junction, but then I added the left one as well, because in certain situations, there's a train that has to, well, it comes in here and then has to depart that way again, so it terminates here. And so this side would be occupied by it. But then there's another train that comes from over here and needs to go through there, which means both trains would have to be on this line. And so now I can park the other train on that other line. Yeah, that's very kind of a kinda. Do you want the GTO VVVF traction sounds or the IGBT VVVF traction sounds? Old versus modern? I think old. I think that, I mean, the ones that sound like those with those brush motors, those ones are more are more unique, I think, and I think are associated more with the train on in a nostalgic way. So I would prefer those, even if IRL most, if not all of them, have been replaced. But if there were more high quality sounds for the other kind, I would probably go with the more high quality sounds over the old ones. So, yeah. Brush, got it. You gonna call up Mika or something? I mean, I wouldn't turn down better sounds. Yeah, and with the weather, I have specifically gone for making the changes of the weather where, depending on how far your visibility is anyway. Like, for example, here where you're in this cutting and you don't have great visibility as it is, then I increased the rain a bit, so you get a bit more fog. But as we go through the tunnel, when we come out the other side, the rain will have gone down a bit more, because then you're going to go over that fill, that embankment, and you're going to have the really far view on the right, which allows for more visibility, and so quite a bit of thought went into that as well. Because the modern one is easy to get, as every new electric unit basically has a variation of it. The newest ones in 465 being Hitashi's Japan, and look at that, countless Japanese trains with them. Oh, I see. That's a good point. So yeah, now you can see the rain has pretty much stopped, but that means that you get this good view and you can actually see the bridge that we drove over before, back there, so yeah. Also, I'm not driving optimally because I'm reading chat. So, yes. The old ones will be interesting to get, but I think I might employ Twitter for this. I mean, I have thought about if it, because like with those the actual electric motor sounds I have thought about trying to synthetically create those sounds, like in Logic Pro with just basic synthesizers, and then mapping over a bit of noise and like mechanical whirring and stuff like that over the top. But I don't have any experience with that sort of thing, and so that would take too much time for me to figure out. But I mean, I am looking for better sounds, so if someone happened to by chance have some laying around, then I was thinking of that, but the traction sounds are more unique than that, and direct recordings are better. Either way, I will see if Sweater could help. Thank you. And if he can, then he'll get a thank you as well. Yeah, that would be very much appreciated. Right. I am running a little bit late because I've not been driving optimally. Also, we've just now passed the first baseboard of the route. And yes, in several areas I have had to redo the third rail as well, because when I started making the route, I really didn't have any experience with placing it, and so it was a little iffy in places. But now it's been fixed. Ways to Try says, when I first started playing, I had no idea how much I might eventually pay attention to details like the sounds. Yeah. But I have no experience with making sounds. Yeah, me neither. Did you show off the Easter egg monument? Not yet. We can have a look at that as well. Because, I put Easter eggs on all of my routes. But usually, I just place them somewhere and then that's it. But with this route, I thought it would be fun if players had a way to at least see what sort of stuff is hidden on the route. Not where it's hidden, but just what it is, so that they could locate it better. Also, here's the final repaint that I've made, which is the coastal livery, which I'm really happy is actually in crispy texture detail at the moment. So this is the line that goes from Dothbourne, the big city, down to some of the coastal towns like Hadley Head, and it's designed to get people out of the city and down to the seaside towns to boost the economy there and all sorts of stuff. So you can see the lovely water spray splash textures and ocean textures on there. And on the coach, there's also the line down here with the different stations that it stops at, going from Dothbourne Central to Hadley Head. And if you look inside, I've also put palm trees and beach theme on the dividing walls by the doors, just to give you that really tropical feeling, so that if you see this train passing by the station or stopped at a platform or something, then the goal is to make you want to go spend the day at the beach. And so I think that the livery succeeds in that regard. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It was inspired a little bit by the Wessex Trainz liveries as well. Actually, I've arrived pretty much on time, and even though I've not made it to the marker, this did I not increase the size of that marker enough? I might not have increased the size of that marker enough. Hold on. I'll reach out in a moment once I've actually stopped you. Oh, and I should be departing on this minute, so better hurry up a little. Oh, and now the other train departs. I think you did last stream. Alright. Kanga, the weather isn't good for the monument tour, and I didn't bring my mud boots. Are some of the Easter egg clues too vague? What do you mean clues? I didn't give any clues. I just said what it is. I didn't give any clues where it is. I just said what it is. Now, yes, in some of them you can guess based on what it is, but it's just if you happen to find a thing, you can cross it off, that sort of thing. Not quite sure. Well, some of them are quite vague to me. Yeah, there aren't supposed to be clues. They're just a list of what there is. I get that the point that's a point counter shouldn't directly tell people what they are, but maybe just a bit of an indicator, general area. It's in palm trees always reminds me of holiday in UK. Yeah, that's fair enough. You're welcome to show up in slippers too. Yeah, I guess UK probably does have them though. Am I right? Palm trees? Yeah, there are palm trees in places that have been planted there. Yeah, not sure how native they are to the area. I think that all palms in the UK have been put there by humans. They don't really grow naturally. Yeah, I think so too. It's really sweet to see these new liveries in action. Yeah. Yeah, true. Nicholas. Yeah, it is nice. Look both ways before crossing the road, yeah. Okay, the next station is Duckley, which is where this service will terminate. And then I'll show you the Easter egg monument and well, I guess we've already had a look at the liveries as we passed them. Depending how much time there is, because I do want to do a bit of Sailwind as well. We might play another session. We'll see. Because I don't have to be too strict with the stream times. Even Southern California's palm trees are mostly not native. Yes, that is true. Bloody hilarious. Yeah. The Floridas are native, right? I've not heard anything about them not being native. Now you can hear, because they boosted the rain volume in TRS 19 more service packs, I think. You can really hear when I turn up the rain in the tunnel. Of course, migrating swallows might easily carry some coconuts over to England, so I'm told. Yes, of course. Though I suppose it depends on if you're talking about an African swallow or a European swallow. Yeah, exactly. Right, and now we're just coming back into Duckley, which is where we began the the session. And since the other the other train that went the loop the other way departed at the same time we did, so that should be arriving as well. Unless it's already arrived, because, yeah, I think it just already arrived, because I'm a little bit late. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, now as we are arriving, this other train's departing. Right. I don't know that. Yep. To seek the Holy Grail. Wow, the people in the caravans have to walk all the way across the field to go to the porta potty. I mean... it allows for easier emptying. Although they might have their own toilets in the tanks. Sure it is. In Duckley, should there be a fence between the embankment and the post office bit where the mail lorries are parked? What do you mean? There is a wall on here. Unless you mean... Oh, do you mean this up here? There is a fence. It might not have been picked up in the bit rate. Keeps it... I guess it keeps the smell away, yeah. Also add the number to the 1.5 minute. Yeah, I'll have to go through all the sessions. Love the semaphore signals. Yes, I have placed several semaphore signals in some of the older lines, like some of the diesel branches as well, the little ones. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Semaphore! That's right. That is Kansas. Right, so I'll show you the Easter egg monument, and then we might play another shorter session and then go to Sailwind. So, even though where the Easter egg monument itself is a little bit of an Easter egg, I can show you that if you like. So if you go over here to Shabley Park Stadium, look over here in the park here. If you go over here, there is the Easter egg monument in the park. And if you look closely, you can see that there's a list of Easter eggs here, which you can all go and find. So, of course, the first one is the Easter egg monument itself, so that if you happen to stumble across this, you will know what it is and what this whole list means. So, yeah, quite a few. And there'll be even more in updates, I'm sure. Right. So, also show the text on the life preserver ring cabinet. I don't have to, but maybe. Would it be good to put nettles around the Easter egg monument? No, of course not, because you're supposed to walk up to it and marvel at the mystery of what this list means. At least if you're an NPC in the world. Yeah, I can show you the life preserver thingy. Like if we go over to Hadley Head, zoom down in here, put one. Oh, that's just a weird shadow of Trainz there. In an emergency, don't panic. Dial 909 and ask for the Coast Guard. Label inspection 2204. Yes. Kango says it there. Right, so last inspection. Oh yes. Can't wait to collect them all. Yeah, if you want to collect them all, then you're gonna have to spend either you're gonna have to spend quite a bit of time looking. I mean, they are all, well, most of them are fairly close to the tracks anyway, but yeah, either you're gonna have to spend quite a bit of time or you're gonna have to bribe me with real world money, but yeah. So let's see, which one shall we do next? Might be fun to do one of the 155 scenarios, maybe. Well, I mean, yeah, that's only about half an hour. I can go about half an hour over time. That should be fine. So, let's see. The funny thing, they probably last 30. Oh, inspect those things every 25 years, I figure. I did also standalone assets for the stand itself, short stand, ring itself, open, yes. They probably last 30 years. Gonna skim over some of that. Funny thing, that's actually the same date as the last time they cleaned out the porta potty. Yes. Yeah, they do Hollyhampton to London. So this one. Yeah. Wow. Hollyhampton. Yeah. The bus driver like mapping. I love that. I need to yoink this idea. Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, this won't really contribute to promotional material anyway, so that's fine. But yeah. So it would be this session then. I will close Trainz, reopen it, so we've got the crisp textures to begin with. Totally right. I think I did remind my subconscious of something, but I just couldn't place it. That's it. I know this was already mentioned, but the map thumbnails are super. Oh, thank you. Helps learning the lines too. Yes, it does. And also it helps you connect. Like for example, this one, which is the coastal livery train. If you play through the session, see, oh, so this is where this livery goes. And then if you're playing another session like that one that we just played, and you encounter the trains on here, it makes it feel a lot more thought out and real. So I'll quickly close Trainz, then I'll reopen it for crisp textures. So Eagle says, okay, so I did a bit of digging, and the best way to do the sounds for 465 is to have it bound to the speed of the train instead of the power step. Something Euromodeler did for the Flirt one. Yeah, conceptually I agree with that, yeah. In practice, I have no idea how one would go about that. I'd have to figure that out. Anyway, let's try this one. So this is 10 o'clock Hollyhampton to London. And the 155 has a significantly longer braking distance than the 465 does. So that's something to get used to when you're first driving with it. Class 155 made, but none other than Marquis. Yes, indeed. Having it bound to the power step will make it sound weird, and there's no way to make them bound together and the power step. Yes. I mean, with the sound asset that I'm currently using, it is bound to the power step, which does mean that you do get the stepping up sounds even before you're actually accelerating, which is weird. So, welcome to Hollyhampton. An old quarry town, and yeah, so I'll drive. Today you will be taking the 10 o'clock service from Hollyhampton to London. The main line is busy, so be tight on the throttle and brake. You may depart after the whistle and flag from the yard. Yes. I mean, it's possible, but it requires a script. Yes, and I'm really only just starting with my experience with making Trainz assets, so no idea who would be willing to write it though. Yeah, I mean, and it's not that necessary. Like, as long as the volumes are okay and the sound doesn't loop horribly, I'm happy. I'm happy with sounds. Ooh, that's something I need to fix. I just noticed that. Look, the yellow marking is connected still. It needs to be disconnected. That's a thing I need to fix. Kango, can you make a note of that? Right, so let's get started. Also, with this train I tend to drive from the outside because from the inside you've only got this view to look out of, so yeah. Also, this cow is watching the goings-on. Is the signal box too close to the platform? Railing kind of goes into it. Well, it's supposed to go onto the platform so that you don't have to walk down the edge and then walk back up the steps. Also, it looks like I need to move that slightly because that is supposed to be a little gate on the side there. But the wall, I don't know why that's moved like that. That should be in the corner so you can go through the gate. Weird. Something weird happened over here in regards to the splines, because I'm sure that I placed that spline in such a way that it didn't cover the gate. I will ask Mika if he can come up with something, if he knows how to, anyway. He easily has the most scripting experience of all of us. Cow is seeing Junior off to college, yeah. I mean, I would be perfectly happy with sound file that has proper volumes. That's like I'd already be content with that. Yeah, no, but knowing Sweater and Mika is try for quality. I mean, higher quality is of course always better and appreciated, but sometimes good enough is good enough. When depending on the situation. Mika will be like, yeah, sure, if that is what you want, but Sweater will be like, no, I will make it perfect. I love how this little valley turned out. There are just so many nice point of views and angles in this valley, which offer a lot of good photo opportunities as well, if you would like to go rail fanning for a bit. Perfectionists are attracted to trains, like who to honey. Yeah, I love this too. Yeah. I mean, I used to need to have the scenery, especially close to the tracks, perfect as well, but that's not that. Oh, there's a train up on the bridge over there. Oh, not paying attention. But that's really not very compatible with actually finishing projects, especially. Well, no, finishing routes, especially when in a good time frame. So, learning the skill of applying great, perfect detail where it's needed and kind of using it more sparsely in other areas is definitely important. I'll reach it once I've stopped at Bramblecross, which is this little village right over here. Also, just to show you a little bit, I do have this old, updated watermill there with a spinning water wheel, and I've got this aqueduct that does actually bring water from over here, so that's nice. I used the water trough spline, which is supposed to be used for like main lines where the GWR locomotives, for example, where they go over and then they use the scoop on the tender to reload water as they're going, but it fits quite nicely there. Oop, going way too fast. Oh, I still had the throttle on. I did not think I had the throttle on. Okay, that's a nice stopping position. Actually, that might be a nice thumbnail. Yeah, I have been caught by the perfectionism bug a good couple times too. This happens to me sometimes, yeah. I like how you did the cut and rocky embankment. Mixture of foliage and rocks is great. Yeah, I do love how that turned out as well. Train! Slovak keyboard strikes again. Yeah. I see. That is what I had assumed. Thought it was a joke at first. Him saying, they're going, no. Look, there's an express crossing the bridge up there. Could have used the log flume spine. Maybe, but I think that would have been a bit too big. That and that share the same key with a shift difference. Makes sense. Zoom all the way with FOV, then thumbnail. I can't because my scroll wheel is a little broken and it doesn't work currently. Like it goes in and out with working and not working. So picturesque. Would really like to put this on a billboard too. Retraced or something. At first I wanted to read it as redacted. I thought, hold on, what do you want to censor? Southfolds enjoy traveling. There we go. And we're off. At least when the brakes release. We will be off. There we go. Now we're off. And it looks like they, at one point, planned to have 2 tracks on here, but that never materialized, so... I also love this little kind of tunnel of trees that you go through. Which, yes, might be a little dangerous in storms, but there are genuinely, like in the UK specifically, like roads as well will just have the loading gauge carved through trees. So it's literally a tunnel with branches and everything going over top of roads and things. So not prototypical for all locations in the world, but for the UK it's good. Also, the signal up ahead, which is another semaphore signal, is currently at danger because there's another train that is going to overtake us. And so we have to wait for that one to pass first. And this was difficult to get right because of the schedules, because according to the schedules, these trains are here. But one thing I didn't account for when I made the schedules was signal block placements, which means in the actual schedule these trains are supposed to follow each other much more closely than they're able to because of the signals, which means I did have to mess with the maximum permissible departure time at mid switch to allow you to get there and then depart on time without getting punished for points. So a little bit of lateness is okay on this station, but that's a secret. Right, Kangu says, have you also thought about possibly putting the current date and weather forecast, including temperature, into the session description? Could help with immersion level, maybe. On some of them I have with the weather, but I mean the time is already in there, but the date really isn't that necessary. Current date is in when the session is set. Yeah, if it were a seasonal route, then maybe, but since this is eternally locked in summer, I'm not gonna do that. Like showers expected at 5 p.m. We start the session at 4:25 or so. Not just UK. Yeah, true. But in some other countries, there are far more, like, wider, cleared margins between roads and forest, stuff like that. Whoa, bye, I guess. Latency? One of those. Hopefully not latency, because I'm streaming. Example, date, 11/7/2011. Yeah, I should be more snappy with the throttle here if I want to be on time, but I mean, I'm not playing this for points currently. Although I love this place in particular, with a little dam and lake up there, a little generating station, and the runoff down to the river. Very nice. Weather, clear throughout the day, showers possible after 100 hours, temperature 22 degrees Celsius. I mean... We have had a line where it was cut to the loading gauge, but the steam trains kept catching the trees on fire, so they cut the trees and covered the tracks with snow sheds, or in this case, fire protection shed. Like, just completely made up detail like that. I could help. Think I could help. Think could help. Or the other way around. I get what you mean, but like, for trains, I don't really think that needs to be in the briefing. Like, if this were airplanes, then sure, but I mean, you already see what weather it is when you select it in the main menu, and then you also see it when you load in. So I'm not really sure what information that would add, really. Oh, also, I did manage to get the crossings, the level crossings, at the end, like really close to stations working properly. Not for free roam, but for the specific sessions. Because the problem is that, for example, here, with this level crossing, the train stops here, or maybe even stops a little bit closer than where I'm gonna stop. The level crossing is gonna go up. And then when the train the level crossing will only go down when the train accelerates again, which means that there won't be enough time for it to go down properly before the train's already on the crossing. However, I did manage to figure out a way of fixing it so that the level crossing goes down before the train is scheduled to depart. So there you go. Now it's already starting to go down. The way that I've done this is I put a little invisible track loop somewhere with an invisible locomotive on it and one of the crossing triggers on the session layer that's named the same as the crossing, so it's part of the group, and that is timed to the clock. So the invisible train will start going around its loop at a specific time, a little bit ahead of when the train is scheduled to depart, and because it's on a loop, it will continuously trigger the crossing, and so now that's working. So yeah. Like, it reminded people of what kinds of trains were around back then, and about what train journeys they made back then. What do you mean? I don't know what that was referring to, sorry. The weather, yes, but the temperature and date could help place the question a bit more. I mean, it's pretty clearly summer because of all the deep shades of green in the foliage and the flowering plants and things. But I mean, on some of the sessions I did put in warm summer's day or something like that to make it a little bit more immersive, but giving like empirical data on that is, I think, a bit too much in this case. I'm just generally saying it's set in modern times. Oh, you mean... Oh, now I know what you mean now. No, the guard whistle is first, and then you get the flag after. Oh wait, did I just... I think I might have... I did not spot that signal. Might fail the session. Oh no! Hold on, I might be able to... Yeah, wasn't paying attention. Might be able to just sneakily... You won't be able to do this in the actual session, but might just be able to sneakily do that. Oh, hello, Emichu. There we go, now the signal's cleared. Oh, wheel slip. Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean, but I don't want it to be set that specifically on a specific date. I want it to be more general modern times, because then we can have a little bit more variation and freedom in that regard. Hello, where's the sailing? I'm just finishing this one session, and then we'll get to the sailing. So I just need to... so the stops that we've got Eisenbridge, then Swordmouth, and then the tiny stop at Mary's Crabshore, and then we're at the end afterwards at London. So it won't be too long. Not gotten a Zermond, yes. Fumbled! Cheater! Yes. This is a demo, in which I'm not paying attention to the actual driving, because I'm reading chat. How'd it go on your train? Hey Eagle, how'd it go on your train? Was surprised to see it running. Minecraft, that is. Yeah, left it in testing phase overnight. It was at our port, so I hopped on. Very proud of you for getting it to work. I like the little modification to the path. A lot of testing, but I'm really happy it runs without issues. Yeah, I can imagine. It's perfect. Yeah, when I do eventually join the current Minecraft game, one day I will make sure to build my base along the already existing railway line, so no diversions will be necessary. I'll be considerate. Maybe on stilts above the track or something? With platforms underneath? That could look nice. Right, and because of the issues that I was having with accelerations and stuff, I am now going to be a little bit late, because I'm supposed to depart at Eisenbridge this minute. But I'm still approaching it, so... yeah. Oh, and here's the other train going in the other direction. Because you really do need to be a bit tight with the throttle and brakes. Yeah. When you do, let me know so I can make the station working for you. Should I reskin the HSD for this too, for air traffic? No. Or one. It's not necessary. Again, while it would be fun, I want to fully use the stuff that I've already got, and dedicate the time to that. And then if there's time and opportunity left over, then that can always be expanded later on as well. I was watching a game show earlier today. Something very amusing happened. Want to hear? Sure. Okay, so just got a couple more stations to go. And there you get the beautiful view of the coast. It's such a nice feeling to know that you can drive all the way along that coast, being all the way back there to Hadley Head. And then who knows, in an update maybe the coast will go even further. Though not further left, because I don't want to make it look too much like an enclosed lake. Yes? Oh yes, so lovely. Really, I mean it. And you can see the palm trees right there, right from your seat in the train. I mean, yeah. There are some palm trees when we get to... Hold on. We were over here before, but over at Sormouth, look, they've got some, not Sormouth, Oscombe, they've got some palm trees along here, for example, that have been planted. Also, yes, that is a little Easter egg there. Okay. No, on this one you can't. Only a coast livery hasn't. Yeah. Only the coastal livery has the... Oh, I need to switch out the seats texture on this one, apparently. That's a good thing to have noticed. Can you please make a note of that as well, Kango? I'll read that once I'm at the station. Right, now I can read stuff. Image says, okay, so a guy took the money that he had, not going for the jackpot. Rather sensible. So, good for him. The presenter asked, what are you going to spend the money on? And the guy said, take my 2 girlfriends for a meal. Separately, of course. Guy just confessed on cheating on national TV. He then asked if this part was going to be broadcast, and the presenter was like, oh yes, buddy. Hehehehe. He was visibly nervous for the rest of the episode. Understandably so. Yeah, that's what you get for 2 timing, friendo. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're already dishonest, then the best thing to do in that scenario would probably be to, like, double down on it, but in a way that is clearly meant to be a joke or ironic, so that the thing that you said seriously then gets kind of covered in an unserious light by the following statements. I mean, if you're dishonest to begin with, you could do that. But if you say this isn't going to be broadcast, is it? Then that's a bit. Right, yeah, the seat texture. Awesome. Some people are just so smart. Really wonder why he'd even admit to that at all. Maybe he was trying to brag. Like if he was already kind of like the spotlight's on him, he's just won, he's walking away, he's feeling like he's winning, and so he's just bragging, and maybe that's it. Especially in game show. He could have just pretended it was a big joke when he realized, yeah. Well, the whole thing was a joke act. He said it so smugly too, like he was expecting all the rest to be like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, woo. Yeah, like, he was just bragging. Nope, just he's back. Okay then. Well, then he can spend it on a nice dinner with his guy buddies. Yeah. Welcome to Mary's Crabshaw. Messed up the braking a little bit, but not too much. Or maybe he has one girlfriend and one friend who just happens to be a girl. Who knows? I mean, that doesn't sound like that would have, like that's the context that's inferred there. Kango, you're too pure. No, he had two girlfriends who didn't know about each other. Or maybe they did, and they were just betraying each other as well, without knowing that the other was also betraying. It might be so much more complicated, soap opera material there, but I guess if he isn't an actor, that is most likely. He's just that Emma's never seen karma hit someone so hard. Oh, you're not going to edit that out? Yeah, I like that boat. Haha. Boat? Yes, boat. Like, I've even got the proper crossing signs, and I've got the the phone, emergency phone boxes. There's even a bus on it. That's well, we'll get to some boats soon enough, don't you worry about that. Yeah, if I'd ever step foot on the live TV stage, I'd never assume anything would be edited out. But what are the chances, eh? Sharadice, you could move the Swordmouth car ferry in each session. I could. In one you could have it a lot closer. Maybe. It depends on how many sessions I have going along here. Because if it's only a couple, then I would want it to be stationary, so that it's in the specific place that it looks the best at. Like, for example, here, because you can see it as you're going around the curve as well. But if I've got many sessions going along here, then I can have it in a different place in some of them. Am I on that boat? Ah, yes. Let me sit there for a bit. Hey! Yeah. Bus and pickup are part of the ferry as itself. The things that exist standalone too. So I said we'd be getting to boats soon enough, so here's another boat. And over here, you got another couple boats. Also, by the way, the blurry textures are a bug in Trainz at the moment, a memory issue, which will be fixed in the next Trainz patch, so Right, so this is the final station. This is London, not to be confused with London. Which is very, very cozy. There we go. Hey, and I even ended up arriving on time on the last station. Yeah, you made it safely to your destination. Although I did lose a lot of points due to speeding and being late, so... right. Now I will read chat, and then we'll go to Sailwind. I can make automated boats in Minecraft too. Don't try me. Yeah, I know. Exit? Why does the exit button not work? That's weird. That is part of the session rule. I didn't make this bit. That is supposed to work. Weird. Not as good a boat. Aw, grumble grumble. Also had Minecraft dream about you all last night. Ah, I look forward to hearing about it. Maybe... yeah. I was gonna say maybe in VC, but... No, it's good too. Want to tell us about it tomorrow on stream? You can attach custom structures on the Mechanical. Yes. The create boats. Dreamt it was VR experience, and if you ran out of air whilst underwater, your VR headset would clamp over your nose and mouth so you couldn't breathe until you surfaced. I mean, that would be quite immersive. Seen the algae harvester thingy. You can make your own boat with a little logistics crate combo. Sounds like a nightmare. Did we play a large party? I was the only one without water breathing, and you all were asking me questions while I was trying to surface and was like, oh no. Oh, could you do VC on Sailwind? I do plan on doing VC on Sailwind. If all participants rolling to, of course. Yeah, waterboarding. No. Okay. Right, so I will get Sailwind booted up and I will be back in a couple minutes. So see you soon. Bye-bye. I'm sure it's your fault for knowing the answers to everyone's questions. Okay, bye-bye.